dusted. We're playing up against like Paradox.
Rocket Network combo.
Hunter shouldn't be back in time at all, actually. Somebody else must have gone down first.
Sharks eat raccoons confirmed, pushing it on in, trying to get to the point. Ballas gets the double, and Alcancia take a dominant first fight, one by one, picking apart the members'
objective. So if they can force out ultimates here, it's going to be nice because they're winning this fight cleanly anyway. But also now DawnCore, if they want to retake this space, they have to use ultimates to try to get through like this very aggressive hold from Alcancia. Never mind fighting on the actual objective itself.
The Hellfire Gala seems to be fully in control of Alcancia at this stage.
We saw from Citadel earlier of just, you're sat on so much that you don't even really need to use. You got Lindstrom that started off that engagement with the Rage of Ultron. He's almost got another one, and it feels like no damage has been done. No ultimates have been really expended from DawnCore. And if they have, now that you've got the Soul Resurgence coming through from Tim,
drains from the members of DawnCore. Alcancia reportedly back in to make sure that they secure this as they finish off the point and claim round number 1 of map 1.
Those bans that came in from Alcancia, you know, taking out the Luna, taking out all...
in order to make sure that they can capitalize and try and claim this point as Kraken Impact coming out early, and this time Maddie will be
back on it, but no eliminations. Ensong and Fiona just trying to see if they can find a target, but everybody's tucked right behind the environment over on Krakoa that there's not too much they can do, and that was a dirty grab that came in over onto the Star-Lord, pulling him down.
They're trying to get out of there, releases their own off at the start, but they've already brought it back with the quick rollouts, bringing Ballas back to the fight so quickly after being taken down, thanks to being on that Star-Lord, means that as long as they have that triple strategist sustained, then they're basically still 6v6. They just have...
that comes through. Kaya, the Feast of the Abyss, is going to try to mostly keep himself going, but he can't quite escape this just reckoning that seems to be coming in from Matty in particular. This swap over to Bucky has done a lot to give them space.
It really has. The extra crowd control is giving them so many opportunities to try and punish this Venom, which has been the massive linchpin in Alcancia's lineup, but all of the damage is going to be trickling in. A lot of the distraction comes in from the Venom. Rage of Ultron comes in from above into the backline to keep the strategist healing outwards, but Ballas takes down Maddie, removing the main crowd control tool, and now it's Alcancia's opportunity to do exactly what they've been doing and pick apart the members of DawnCore one by one. Ballas using the most of the bonus health that he gets from the flips now to keep control, and they're holding on to this Galactic Legend because they know they...
And now Milk Boy's trying to make sure that this DawnCore can't regroup. The Silent Seduction going to be used on the other side, and there with the combo, the charge in from Ballas, is going to provide a little bit more percentage for Alcancia. DawnCore were just expecting one good fight, and that's all they'll need. But now time is starting to look a little bit sketchy.
They're running a little huge turnaround, huge wraparound. Where is Jeff going? But it doesn't matter, as everyone else is absolutely annihilated. Full
no one's touching.
No one's touching. That just try and punish. The problem is there was just too much momentum. Once Alcancia started picking people off so effectively, they couldn't keep control of that point for long enough, even though that was far better than the previous round.
Yeah, I mean, that was the main thing I was going to say for DawnCore here, is that this first point is left, you know, a little bit of egg on my face, I think, because I've been sort of really talking about how this team, I've really enjoyed watching them. I've really enjoyed watching them improve, but how that combination of Jean Grey and Magnetos got DawnCore on this defense. He switched back over to the Emma Frost, and you've got the Moon Knight and the Storm set up from Alcancia, similar to what we saw from Citadel.
I really like that, trying to go for something that can try their push with their 2-2-2.
The pole play is going to come through. There's not really going to be an attempt for Alcancia to try to disrupt that, other than just stick the Hand of Conjure on top of it, and that is frankly enough. 3 people go down, whether they came through the door or not. I don't think DawnCore even had the opportunity to build up one ultimate, never mind.
Point, harassing us backline, but realizing that they are now separated thanks to a group wall from their team. They are forced to retreat without finding a single elimination. Straggling Prison, though, sending them up. Group wall, splitting the team in 2 minute damage output is good, but the healing coming in from DawnCore, it's keeping them up. They lose Sapatic, they lose Tim, and it's another team wipe. Alcancia take control, break the point, and point 1 is already theirs. And honestly,
as he got that ultimate online, it's just, again, narrow margins that Alcancia have suffered from when we've seen him play up against Virtus Pro. But now the shoe's on the other foot. DawnCore, they have the setup, but they don't have the execution.
Three-man straggling prison coming on in. They're going to try and make something happen. Hand of Con.
Kaya is going to actually go down. He had the strangling prison, but holding on for Alcaci as the Galactic Ledger from Ballas is more used to help deter the fight as he goes through. He's very lucky to be alive. In fact, no, he goes down anyway. So now DawnCore take a really good engagement. That Kizaru ultimate that came in the Meteor M, enough to gain control on the... It's the Groots versus the Groots, and actually 2-2-2. We don't have triple strategists for once, as the Eternal Bond is going to be the thing that starts that fight. More turning the players around from Alcacia, and it provides some space for DawnCore to just cut through. This is feeling a lot more comfortable. Now they found their footing. You could make...
Teams trying to make something happen. Soldier's Fist into Kraken Impact, and Tilt pulls the trigger. Enzo Inferno comes out. Treeman has turned this around, and Tilt is all alone. They pulled the trigger, and this time it's DawnCore who shuts them down.
Oh, it was a little bit scary for DawnCore because he didn't have those strategist ultimates to sit back on, and
Safatig is just surviving, forced to flee as Kaya will be the one who is punished after diving into the backline to set that up. Tilt onto the Ultron, already charged up with the range of Ultron as they moved over to that triple strategist we were talking about earlier, setting themselves up for maximum.
As overtime is starting to expend for Kadsia, able to be coming out on top. Numbers advantage very much into their favor, and you've still got the Kraken's impact picked up from Frost, and he's going to use it instantly.
The boundary is shut down, taking Maluki off the board. Ballas tried to swap. Ballas has moved over to the Adam Warlock. They do seem comfortable on triple strategist Alcacia, as we know. Here comes the Venom for the defense. Got to be careful though, as Frosted on the moon. They have chosen triple duelist to break it.
Overshield from his E ability, and he's still just making sure that even if DawnCore, they're starting to, or Alcacia even picking up a lot of these fights, that it's still being stalled out in the end, and Kaya's done a terrific job on the Venom to just not go down.
And that's rough news for DawnCore. They are still going to try to just overwhelm this with DPS. Honestly, I think you abandon
that final judgment, and you start to see things working in favor. Bring back, though, for Lindstrom is going to counter revival everybody else back up. So even though that was a good fight from DawnCore, Alcacia pretty much nullified it completely.
Dragon Prison comes on out, holds them in the doorway though, and it's the opportunity. Treeman making it happen. Frosted
from them, but Kaya is just straight back into the fight. The rollouts are so good on this map, and he's good enough as a vanguard to just keep being irritating. DawnCore have had some really clean engagements, but it's still not good enough. And the distance throws from Tilt. It's just from downtown. Alcacia is still stalling this out.
1 minute and 14 to go. Frosted has a hand of...
Got one Karmic Revival potentially, so even if it's a perfect fight from DawnCore execution-wise, if you don't take out the right targets, it's not going to matter. And it might not matter if you're just not winning the fights head-on. The invisible boundary was just put on the cusp, which meant the Kaya...
Final judgment is eaten alive. Sabatic falls, and now it's the slow trickle of members from DawnCore trying to reinforce. There's still another Karmic Revival on the side. It's as good as over. Ballas takes out Tim. Treeman gets Tilt. BRB brings back Tilt. Karmic Revival again. And Alcacia sit, you know.
Yeah, flat out, you can't allow having a Loki and an Adam Warlock on a payload map like this. That is